Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. It is Friday, April the 24th.
Thanks for the reminder, Jen.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need it right now. I am Jen Bordeaux, the Director of Public Relations for New Direction Family Law, coming at you with another Family Law Uncorked. And I am joined today by three wonderful ladies. I feel like I should look down into my this way, like the Brady Bunch here. I have Elizabeth Stevenson, who is the founding partner and one of the attorneys at New Direction Family Law. And then I also have Jen Whiteside. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. With the NC Community Foundation, and Amber Smith with Activate Good. So we are going to learn a little bit more about who they are and what they do. But we wanted to come to you and talk about what you can do for the community right now. A lot of us have a lot more free time on our hands while we're stuck at home. We want to get engaged with the community and with organizations, but how do we do that? I think on a normal basis, people want to get involved and be involved, but they don't know where to start. Right. Let alone now, are there opportunities for you to still volunteer from home, or what do organizations need right now? So that's what we want to chat about. So I will let you guys kick it off. Jen, if you just want to start with introducing who you are and the NC Community Foundation and the awesome stuff you guys do.
Oh, great. Well, thanks. Good morning. It's great to see everyone. I'm with North Carolina Community Foundation, and we help folks across the state in doing their charitable giving. And so our focus is really on rural North Carolina, but we work throughout North Carolina with really generous folks, identifying and making grants and looking at the needs across those communities. And we work with a lot of both volunteers, community leaders, and generous fund holders to really make a difference. So we've been paying particular attention to what's happening across the state, not just here in the Triangle, but across North Carolina in terms of the COVID-19 responses.
I will say, Jen gave me my first job when I got out of when I got my master's degree, and she was a great mentor. It's many years ago, but we started at Prevent Child Abuse North Carolina, and so you've gone on to do great things. And what I think what's really impressive about your organization is that, like, I'm a member of the Wake Women's Giving Network, so I can give a little bit, and then I pool it with a lot of other people, and we can make a really big difference. So are there other funds like that people can maybe tap into?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was lucky enough to work with you. So it wasn't, it was wonderful. And, giving circles are such a great example, because the thing that I want to talk about with people is that sometimes we think philanthropy is like just for the very wealthy, or for, that community foundations are just for really wealthy people. And there are so many avenues for giving, and we have so many generous folks in our community. And giving circles, and particularly, I'm fond of women's giving circles, but are a great way where women pool their charitable donations and then make a contribution together on issues that they care about. And we've got 8 women's giving circles across the state that are operating, and they're all very different, but it's a great way to get involved.
I agree. So how can do you need to reach out in your own community, or can folks contact you to find out if I'm in Rutherford County or down at the coast? How would I find a network that maybe I could get into?
Certainly, our website is great. North Carolina Community Foundation website has all the information that someone would need about either applying for a grant from us, or from one of our local affiliates, or becoming involved, themselves around charitable giving. So there's just lots of information on that.
So, and Jen mentioned this, but the other Jen, my Jen, mentioned that you had written an article recently that was pretty spot on and good for the time that we're in. And it was about what is it that nonprofits need during this time?
Well, that's a great question. And I think that, this nonprofits need our support year round, all the time. But in particular, what's happening now is that many of our organizations are working with the most vulnerable populations in our community. So the needs are great. There's additional expenses that are happening, their own sort of operational costs that are happening, combined with the fact that right now so many organizations have had to cancel their fundraising events.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, in particular, when you think about, you know, an organization who relies on an event that's, you know, 60% of their revenue for the year. So organizations have really both had increased costs, not only with their own team, but also with the folks that they're working with. So I think, one, there's incredible needs out there. And what we're really recommending is for people to start thinking about organizations that they care about, organizations that they've been giving to make sure that they're continuing to give to those organizations throughout this time. Just like when we're, you know, thinking about restaurants and community groups in our areas that we want to support, nonprofits are the same sort of thing.
Right. It's so funny, as I'm on the board of the Hope Center at Pullen, which helps foster kids aging out of foster care. And so our gala was supposed to be last night. And it was a big chunk of our money. So we did a virtual one. So I think nonprofits have to get creative and find ways that they can still engage with their donors to let everyone know that, yeah, there's still a need out there. And it's just bigger than general.
Well, and it's not only right now. I mean, certainly we have organizations who are struggling with additional needs or serving their clients, or especially folks that are running either medical or health programs, or, you know, those additional costs. But this is sort of a long-term issue. It's not one that's just going to, once we all get back to work, that's going to be solved. This is a longer term issue that we're still a ways away from seeing the impact.
Right. So Amber, tell us a little bit about what Activate Good is.
I love the name, first of all.
Yay. I do too. So Activate Good is all about inspiring people to help out their community, help out causes that they care about, just because we believe that the world can be a better place than it is, and that people have the power and the responsibility to make it a better world for all. And we do that through service. You know, giving your time is so important, and it's so valued because it's something you can never get back. You know, you've got limited time in the world, so why not use it doing something good for other people and for the community that you care about? So throughout the year, we would be connecting people to volunteer needs with over 500 nonprofits in our Triangle area. That does include some schools as well. And about mid-March, we had hundreds of volunteer commitments had to be canceled, and we just sort of saw this domino effect after that. Within a week, about 95% of our volunteer engagements were canceled or postponed or reduced in some way. So what we did was we started focusing on two things. The first is getting people to help out those urgent needs. So we still have folks going to the food bank and Meals on Wheels and wherever they can safely help while still meeting the critical needs of those being most impacted by the situation, those vulnerable populations that you talked about. And also remote volunteering. We are strong believers that you can do some kind of good no matter where you are with whatever you've got. And so remote volunteering is a great way to do that.
I love that idea. So give me an example of a remote volunteer opportunity that you guys would have.
Yeah, so it runs the gamut. You know, if you are someone with a particular set of professional skills, you could be helping nonprofits with social media. You could be helping them with web development and design. Writers, you can be writing articles. You can be creating videos, all those sorts of things. But even if you don't have those skill sets, there's so many things you could do. We have a group of volunteers doing kindness calls to seniors who are homebound and isolated right now. We are doing cards for kids in the hospital. We're working with the Center for Volunteer Caregiving to get letters to the seniors that they serve. We've got people who are doing calls to families in Spanish to make sure that the latest news about the coronavirus is being translated accurately. We've got people doing research to compile a large database of information about local causes. So there's really anything you can do. And the great thing is a lot of that is kid-friendly, and kids can participate too. And we've always had families interested in getting their kids involved. but that's just sort of highlighted even more right now.
I think that's a great idea because I have one at home, and then in our office has kids at home, and they're feeling a little sorry for themselves, and I'm bored, I don't have anything to do. So that is a great way to get them engaged and help them understand, what the impact of all this is on other folks. So I love that. How can people get in touch with you, Amber, and find out how they can volunteer that best fits their skill set?
I would say a couple of different ways. So the first is to check out our website, activategood.org. We're compiling a special list of not just these remote volunteer needs, but also urgent in-person needs that could be done safely, some of the ones that I was describing before. That you can still do if you're comfortable doing that and you're healthy. You can check out those needs as well. The second is to join our newsletter. A link to that's also on our site. And the third is to follow us on social media. We are constantly putting new things out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So Activate Good is our handle on all three of those.
Okay. And Jen, how do people get in touch with you guys if they want to, I don't know, find out more about the organization or how to set up their own, foundation or trust or whatever that may be?
Sure. Our website is nccommunityfoundation.org, and there's a lot of information both about how to get involved with charitable giving, but also a little bit about some of the needs across the state.
Okay.
And information about some of our local affiliates that are doing that work. But I just think it's such a important time to think about, I think what Amber's sharing, sort of how to get involved, and all of us, this is a hard time. I mean, it's stressful and anxiety, and we're sort of cooped up, and being able to do something for someone else other than ourselves really can, I don't know, shine a light for each one of us to feel better. So,
and hopefully, that becomes a part of who you are and what your family does. And so it's not just during this time, but that it continues. When they say, it's going to be a new normal, I hope this is what part of the new normal is for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and I think, thinking about, each day, just something kind that you can do. And it doesn't have to, it can be a donation to an organization. It can be buying a meal from a restaurant or a gift card or supporting someone in your community. It can be volunteering. There's just opportunities, and showing that kindness to your family and to others can make a difference.
I agree.
It's contagious.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
And if somebody is trying to identify, maybe they haven't found their kind of go-to organization that they want to support, but now they're really, trying to dedicate time to maybe figure that out or identify one that tugs their heartstrings. I know I have mine.
Yeah.
Is that something that either one or both of your organizations can help them with identify? I know from like a young professionals standpoint, Jen, earlier you mentioned people kind of, sometimes they just associate, community work with monetary donations.
Sure.
And I know that some of the young ambassador professional organizations in the area have kind of come out of that to say, hey, there are other things that we can do, because normally when you're just starting out professionally, you maybe don't have those kind of funds to donate. So do you guys as organizations help maybe, or is there kind of a young professional focus at all, or some way that you can help individuals identify a group that's a good fit for them, whether it's something personally just speaks to them or professionally relates, whatever it is?
Amber, I'm going to let you take it first.
All right. You could tell I was excited to answer
Yeah.
that. So I will say, so Activate Good serves all ages, of course, but we have, had lots of groups going out constantly who are young professionals. We would have 4 or 5 projects a week with groups of all ages, but especially, we tend to attract young professionals at Activate Good because so much of our leadership falls in that demographic. But what I will say is, you would think on paper that it would be easy to find your fit, right? That you would just hop on the internet and magically the perfect volunteer opportunity would appear before you, and you'd reach out and they'd respond and it would just be magical. But that's not the experience of most people. The internet is a big, overwhelming, scary place. And so that's part of Activate Good's role, right? Is to help you sort of curate that and help you think through what is a good fit for you. So we always encourage people, if they don't find something that they feel is a good fit by searching and filtering and browsing on our site, to send us an email, because we've had a lot of experience in matching and helping you think through those things. Questions like, what keeps you up at night? What gets you excited, or what makes you angry? Like thinking about what are the causes that you might be passionate about, and then connecting that to what are the skills that you have, the talents. Do you prefer to be leading out front or more in the background? Do you like to do things independently or with a group? So all these sorts of questions can help us narrow down a good fit for you, because it is in a nonprofit's best interest for the volunteer to be a good fit, because they want you to stick around.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
those are some
Great.
Yeah, those are great questions. I think those are the same kind of questions that you can consider as you think about where you want to donate your money. I mean, I think, what makes you angry, and what do you feel passionate about? Those are great sort of focus areas for sure.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I know that, especially you two are very busy and you've got a lot going on, but New Direction Family Law, when I started this law firm, I wanted to be part of the community. And I think it's very important for us to make sure that people give back to the community. And we appreciate everything that you guys do so much. So thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
so
you.
much.
And for anybody watching or who watches later, if you have any questions or need direction for contact information to get involved with, either contact an NC Community Foundation or Activate Good, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach out to me via New Directions private messaging. I'm the one that responds, so you'll get me. Or just commenting on this video, or reaching out via New Directions website, whatever, and we will get you in contact and help you get involved with the community. So yes, ladies, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and viewers, thank you for tuning in. We have 3 more lined up next week, to include talking about COVID-19 and substance use and at-risk things surrounding relapse and addiction. We're going to be talking about what to look for in a family law attorney whenever you're searching. All kinds of different things next week, and we'll keep on rolling them out. Oh, on Monday we're talking about mediation and congestion of the court. So that ought to be fun. So anyway, thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for all the wonderful work you do for our communities. Have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.
Bye.